Welcome to the Real Retirees of New Jersey, powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Randy and Peggy Fisher want to help you retire once and retire right. Get more information at therealretireesofnewjersey.com. They never throw the first punch, but they're always a knockout.
Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. But most importantly, thanks for listening. This is the Real Retirees of New Jersey podcast with Peggy and Randy Fisher. It's all powered by Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. You can get more when you visit therealretireesofnewjersey.com. You can find that and all the information here in the show notes. My name is Mark Owens. Now, let's get to the show. Peggy, Randy, y'all doing good this weekend?
Doing good.
It's a great weekend.
I got a question for you.
Sure.
Uh-oh.
You hear these financial gurus. You see these financial gurus on TV. Your Dave Ramsey, your Mad Money, your Jim Cramers, your Susie Ormans, your Kevin O'Leary. What's your take as somebody in the industry when you hear them spouting their advice or they're putting out their books or their newsletters? Do you appreciate it? Do you respect what they have to say, or do you take it with a grain of salt?
Well, you got to remember that they are wealthy people giving you advice, right? Very wealthy people giving you advice. And I think the two of them are so kind of different offs on that. If you think about, let's say, like Dave Ramsey, who he believes change happens when you do. And do people really change? Can they change? Like if you've had a set way your whole entire life about
it's proven people don't
debt,
change.
saving money, not saving money. If you are a saver, if you're a spender, can you change? I don't know. I always wonder about that.
Nope.
Then you've got someone like Susie Orman who says, I looked her up, right? Yep. She does not believe in eating out. She thinks it's the biggest waste of money. But you know what she believes, everybody? That chartered jets are the best way to travel. She will not travel economy. And why? Because she says kids may sneeze on her and get her sick, and she is a very important person. So therefore, she will not travel.
Who do you think she votes for?
Oh, no, they said who she votes for. That's very clear. But isn't that funny, though, how, I don't know, to eating out, paying, I don't know, let's say $50 to go eat out somewhere. That's, you shouldn't be doing that.
That's
folks.
why she can drive. That's why she can fly in a private jet.
But you should charter a jet. It wasn't even like, I was like, oh, first class? Okay. No, not just first class. I'm talking about chartered jets, folks. I'm talking about, I'm going to get on my own private plane by myself.
This is the same woman that couldn't make cookies. That's why she's a financial advisor now.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
She was a baker and she couldn't make cookies.
Huh.
Look her up. I mean, here, Dave Ramsey, he doesn't even have security licenses.
Right.
How about that one?
Yeah.
So
you always say that. He's giving advice, but he doesn't have a license. Right.
But he doesn't even have a license.
Okay.
That would be like me saying, get in the bus, we're driving, and I don't even have a driver's license.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is something to be said about Dave Ramsey. Susie Orman, I can't say. But for him, he does have that debt management class that I think a lot of people have taken advantage of. Isn't it fair to give him his props when it comes to debt?
I don't think everything that they say is wrong.
Right, exactly.
Everything here's my take of it is everything is cookie cutter.
Yes. And
not everybody falls in the same category.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you can't give the same advice to every single solitary person. In fact, there's something called the know your client rule, right? So if you're involved in licensing and you have a regulatory license, and it is oversighted by either FINRA, SEC, or the NAIC, or any of these places, you need to know your client before you can recommend something.
Well, so I think with
how can you give general advice?
So with the two of them, it's just a one size fits all.
That's because they sell
approach.
books,
exactly,
CDs,
exactly,
podcasts,
right?
That's on and on. Same thing with who's the other guy? David McKnight. Right, he's financial advisor,
yes,
or supposedly
right.
CPA,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like Ed Slott, right?
Yeah.
They talk about the power of zero or having a tax-free retirement, right? So it sounds real nice, but in order to do it, they do it through a life insurance contract. If the life insurance contract is not set up correctly, the whole thing blows up. And we come across so many people that say, I want a LIRP, a life insurance retirement income plan, right? They come in the door, they don't even understand what it is because they went to somebody's seminar and sat there and had a plate of food. Next thing they know, they jumped on an opportunity to get a life insurance contract with these people, but they weren't understanding the entire concept of what needs to be done in order to get that strategy effective. And then they get stuck with a life insurance policy that's full of what? Fee, costs, and charges.
Yeah.
There's not an accumulation that they thought it was. And years go by, they've paid in oodles and oodles of more money than what they should have for mortality expenses. Now, God forbid, if they would have died, they would have had a death benefit, but that's great. But that's not why they were buying the policy in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So again, this cookie cutter approach to, hey, everybody needs one of these. Well, if everybody needs one of these, everybody would have already had one, right? That's not the way it goes. Everybody is unique. Everybody's situation is different, but it's similar to a degree. What's similar about it? Everybody goes to work. Everybody wants to retire someday, right? Your retirement's going to be different than my retirement. It's going to be different than the next guy's retirement. It's going to be different than the next gal's retirement. Somebody wants to sit and watch the sun go up and down. Somebody wants to play golf all day. Mm-hmm. Somebody wants to go travel. Somebody wants to play with their grandkids. Everybody's got different rules of engagement during retirement. But to get there, you can't use a cookie cutter approach. Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Right, exactly. And I know they both, they say like that you should pay off your debt, to free up, income. And that's always good to say too. But I mean, Dave Ramsey has the 7 steps. His first step is like save $1,000 for your starter emergency fund. That's good for someone who maybe
hey, I got an extra
$1,000. Like when I first read that, I go, okay, well, maybe if I don't have the extra $1,000. Okay.
Was that $1,000 a month?
Step 1's off. No, just try to save
just an extra
save $1,000, right? Then it was pay off all your debt except for your house and using the debt snowball, which is different from hers. Like he says, pay off your, lowest credit card and keep going. Always pay the lowest credit card off. It makes the person, as he says, feel good. Hey, I paid that off. Let's move on to the next one. Where she says on the other one, let's pay off the credit card with the highest interest rate.
I don't agree with that.
Which is totally different than
now. I agree. I agree with David Ramsey. I've been doing that for 30 years.
Yeah, right.
What's your take on Jim Cramer and the Mad Money? But I ask because, and it's just fascinating. He's talking to somebody in your industry. Where do you get your information from?
And he went to Rutgers.
Did he know? I don't know.
Go RU.
Yeah.
Yay.
So, you're a fan now.
No, we're not fans.
We're not fans.
We're both graduates. No, we're both graduates of Rutgers.
Yeah, but
in New Jersey, we love Rutgers.
I'm personally not a fan of Jim Cramer. In fact, again, same thing. CNBC, they're great. Yeah. You can listen to them. I think they're comical. There's a bit of a entertainment approach to them in the morning. Some people take it as the Bible every morning.
Yes, they do.
It's amazing how many people follow their advice and lose money.
We've had some clients who've actually come into the office too. We'll hear something, and Randy will be like, "Who are you listening to? This was that Dave Cramer you listening to?"
It's one station I tell people just to stay away from. Because, listen, again, we talk about if you're on the internet, it's called clickbait.
Yes,
it's just like trying to listen to the news. What are they going to come up with every couple minutes? Traffic, weather, and some crazy news story, right? What are they there for? What is it for your ears? It's ear pornography in order to keep you tuned into what? Their station. They don't want you to change the channel.
No.
Right.
So that's what they're doing. They're basically telling you that Armageddon's coming. Hey, there could be a tremendous weather storm. You never know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what's happening with the stock market? It could go down and you could lose all your money tomorrow. But you know what? We'll be right back.
Hey, I want you to listen to this hair replacement commercial real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Here's another ED pill.
Yeah. And then they go through all their basic advertisers. And then what do? You sit there waiting for these people to come back on. And the information that they're about to give you is, who knows if it's right or wrong anyway.
Right.
I get it.
Right?
908-844-8337. Again, 908-844-8337. The reason I'm kind of picking your brain about these celebrity financial gurus is because, Randy, you said it a couple of minutes ago, they kind of have that one plan fits all mentality. Mm-hmm. And that is completely different from what you do at Liberty Financial Group and Artemis Wealth Advisors. Tell me the importance of understanding that every single person, everybody's plan, everybody's thoughts, their goals, everybody's is different.
Unique individuality.
Exactly.
Period. The end. Yeah. Everybody's different. We sit with dozens of people a week. Every single person is different.
Totally different.
But I can tell you there are similarities.
Yes.
Right? I haven't met one person that says, hey, I can't wait until I lose money. I've never heard of it.
But we always get
Nobody wants to lose money.
Every person asks us the question, though, can I retire?
Can I retire?
So we know that's common.
A good one.
Yes,
and then the magical answer is, yes, you can retire. When? When you have more money coming in than you're going out.
Right.
And exactly. I try to make it that simple.
Yes.
But it is that simple, right? But everybody's situation is entirely different. Who has a pension? Who doesn't have a pension?
Who's still working? Who's not working?
Who can't sit still?
Right. Exactly.
Who can literally just retire?
Yeah.
Does that make sense anymore? Retirement's an entire evolution. It started out as we never retired. We worked until we died.
Yes.
We lived with other family members to the evolution of moving away to a segregated family where your kids moved out. You guys, went one way, we went another way. We finally retired in our golden years and we had enough money. And then at the end, whatever was left over, they gave to the kids or something like that, right? Now it's coming back to, well, we may live too long. So in that case are we going to have enough money to survive in retirement to do the things that we want to continue to do to take care of ourselves?
Yeah.
Or if that's not the case, do we want to go back to migrate the families together again? And I want to work for as long as I possibly can and still live with my surrounding family within close proximity or even within the same household.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like an evolution of times that are going on. And it's not going to be too long where if inflation stays the way it is and the cost of living stays the way it is, it's going to force families in order to live together again just to get by.
They just actually had on the news, we talk about the news, right, saying that most parents today with their older children, when I say that, I mean like 20s, 30s, they are paying for their housing. They're paying for their schooling. They're paying for their groceries, they said. And then they said, which people were getting ticked off on there, is they're paying for all of their vacations.
Yes.
So we are in, and do we know that, Randy, correct?
Shush him.
I heard you say yes with such conviction.
Really loud back there.
50% of U.S. parents financially support adult kids. And the three hot topics were
groceries, vacation.
83% pay for groceries.
Yep.
The 65% pay for cell phones.
Oh, that's it. Yes.
That's because it's family plans.
Yeah, but and you know what? Let me
and
wait.
46% pay for vacations.
And let me
that's the only time you can get them together.
And it's true about the cell phones, because I did laugh on that one, because we have all of our children. My one daughter is still married, and she's like, "You want me to come off there?"
She lives 6 states away.
She lives 6 states away, and you want me to come off? I said no, because when I called AT&T, they're like, "No, you're better off having her." I'm like, "All right, I'm saving like $50 a month because she's still on the plan." So it's funny,
true.
right?
But think about this also, and this is not to be biased or anything. Yeah. Think of the ethnic populations that live in the same household.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And there's people that actually complain that there's 3-4 families living in one household.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Number one, from a social standpoint, they're a lot happier because they're all together as a family unit. Right?
Yep, exactly.
Number two, they're sharing the costs associated.
Absolutely.
And they're sharing the burdens.
Of like
what
children,
are the burdens?
Well,
right?
children going to school.
Right. All of those things.
It lets, the elders.
Cleaning.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, you name it, right?
Yeah.
Transportation, portability, education. I mean, the list goes on.
Yeah.
So for as much flack as ethnic groups get for having conglomerate families living under one roof, the benefits are amazing.
Yeah.
They really are. And, it doesn't get enough good talk that it should. And I think that's where we're going. In the next number of years moving forward, I think you're going to start seeing a lot more of that happening. I got 2 sons. I don't think they're ever moving out.
I don't want them. I don't want them to ever move out. I love them.
You hear it?
Wow.
You hear
Did you hear that yin and yang right there?
I love them.
Yeah.
Randy's like, God, get out. Mom,
Get out.
Peggy's like, please, honey, get
I love my boys.
Get back in my womb. Come here. Get
Oh my
closer.
God.
It's crazy. Now again, I yell and scream and moan and complain about it, but the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't mind if they actually lived there forever.
Is
right?
that true?
True. I mean, listen, that's for Monday. Maybe
yeah.
Tuesday.
But, all right, hold on. 908-844-8337. 908-844-8337. You can't let them be a drain on your retirement, though.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be a 50-year-old sitting in my basement playing video games.
Let's go to that though, because then but let's go to that, shall we? Because it is true. Like I'll say, hey, you're going to pay for the insurance this month, and my one kid will be like, you want me to pay the insurance? I'm like, do you want me to throw you out of the house? Like, come on, like I'm not asking you for $1. I pay for everything that you do in life. And Randy, who acts like he's Mr. Tough Guy, he'll be like, oh, does he have to pay that? I'm like, whoa.
Who said that?
If you're 23 years old, I think you should be at least paying your car insurance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's to everybody out there. They have to take some kind of like responsibility, True.
How did we get on the topic of me?
I don't know. Don't we always do that?
Because you're here.
I wasn't even prepared for this show. I thought we were going to be talking about immortality and living forever today. Now we're talking about outdated advice from talking heads on
That's
television.
a great thing about this radio
The real
show.
retirees of NewJersey.com to put faces to the voices that you hear every weekend. And we do invite you to call right now. What does your strategy look like? Whether the kids need to move back in, whether you never want them to leave, or you want to kick them out right now. What does your plan look like? 908 844-8337. It's a portfolio x-ray. It's a $2,500 value, but this weekend, no cost, no obligation if you've saved at least $250,000 or more for your retirement. And I think we might have seen the same story about the parents that still financially support their kids.
Yes.
There was a poll, I think it was from Fox Business or Fox News.
Yes.
At what age should parents stop financially supporting their children? And according to this poll, and these are the readers and the people that follow them on X, the number one answer was the age 22 to 25 is when you need to stop supporting your kids.
You would assume that they're basically out of college with a job,
Yeah, I kind of
right?
agree
To
with
some
that.
degree.
But not today. I find that back in the day,
That's
but
because they're working at Starbucks.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they
I
have
know.
a soap carving degree.
But also, too,
it took them 6 years and $115,000
the
to
cheapest
get.
rent in our state of New Jersey, you're looking at like $2,500 for a one-bedroom apartment. Where
Mark
are they going to
doesn't
get
live
that?
in New Jersey. He lives down below the Dixie
Yeah, but
line. He
but-
eats rocks.
All right, but our show is in New
and
Jersey.
he drinks brown liquor.
It's called gravel.
Yes, but so it'd be great if you could maybe move to a southern state where you could
can't
afford
wait.
that. But let's talk New Jersey
I've been
here.
trying.
I mean, we have a son who owns his own business. We always say this. Makes very good money. Does pay his own car payment, and now he's
I thought
paying
you
the
just said he
insurance.
didn't.
He's paying the car payment and the
See,
insurance.
she tells stories.
But,
she tells stories, ladies and gentlemen. She's
but
just a fibber.
He
It's like Fable's
cannot.
Tales.
He's not going to be able to afford to go out there and spend for a one-bedroom apartment $3,000 a month. That's just not going to happen.
He can live on the street like everybody else.
No, we're not. Definitely not letting him live on the street.
Remember the definition of retired. When more money comes in than goes out, you're retired. He could be retired on the street.
Yeah, but then we do talk about retirement where, like we were saying, is it a burden to mom and dad to carry on? How long do you carry on? So I should
Listening to you right now is a burden.
22 to 25, I should be kicking our one son out at this point. He should be paying for
You're
everything.
going to make somebody crash their car listening to us this week.
Peggy's
not
going to
true.
kick Randy out before anybody
We're going to be
else
sued
right
for
now.
liability.
No, we're not. We're so not going to be sued for liability.
908-844-8337. Peggy, walk me through it. I want to take advantage of that portfolio x-ray. Hear what you guys are talking about this weekend regarding taking care of the family, but also not depleting my retirement savings, all of my life's hard work. I come and sit down with you. I have that first consultation. What can I expect? What does it look like?
Well, listen, you can come on in. We'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Usually what we ask for is, if you can, bring some statements. We'll then do that analysis for you, and it can be like pretty mind-blowing when people see what we come up with. So we love to do that. Bring your statements in. We'll do an analysis for you, and then we'll have you come back in for, a total lowdown of everything that you got, and it can be quite eye-opening to all of our clients that come in.
And Randy, important right now, you're doing a lot of quarterly reviews. It's kind of funny to think that we're already
Yes, big time.
into a couple of months into the New Year's. What are those like?
Yeah, so most of the time what we do is we go over basically, obviously, the last 3 months, kind of like a report card, see where we are, see if there's any holes. We do more like a SWOT report, right? A strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. So we want to take a look at basically what's been going on, where have we been capitalizing, where have we been missing, and then trending forward, what are we looking at over the next 3 to 6 months? How do we reposition, reallocate the portfolio, rebalance it? What can be added? What can be removed? And then the same story with risk reward. Are we taking enough risk? Are we taking too much risk? But most importantly is, are you being able to put your head on the pillow at night and go to sleep? We call that sleep insurance.
Yes.
You can't be risk adverse and be in the market at the same time, because you're just going to be wit scared. Your anxiety is going to be through the roof. We've got to basically make sure that, as Peggy said, we're part psychologist, psychiatrist.
Yep.
We've got to make sure that you're comfortable when you leave the building. And moving forward, I mean, our phones ring all the time. So basically, if there's any questions that you may have, we basically stay in touch with you during the entire period of time, day, night, weekend, weekday. It makes no difference. We certainly don't want to continue to talk you off the ledge. We just want to give you enough risk where the reward is correct, but we want to make sure that your plan is intact and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
And we call that active management, or we're on active practice. As Randy says, we like to, we'll keep in touch with you for most of our wealth clients every, you say every 2-3 months, Randy, but I think you talk to
almost
people
every
much.
day.
Yeah, I was going to say, you talk to people quite often,
You said it
especially
before.
now.
That people call you at all hours of the night sometimes. There's nothing
yeah.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong.
Yep, absolutely. And listen, we'll pick up that phone no matter if it's your need and you're calling us, then we're picking up and we'll help you out. No problem.
But it's important to inspect what you expect, right? So if you're not inspecting your plan, if you're not reviewing your plan, whether it's a 401k, whether it's a financial plan, whether it's your retirement IRA, whatever it is, If you're not inspecting it,
or if your financial advisor is not inspecting it,
Correct.
then you need a second opinion. Come see us, 908-844-8337. Let us give you that second opinion.
So I've got a little notepad going with all these little Randyisms, if you will. The income is the outcome that matters the most in retirement. The 5 Ps, prior planning prevents poor performance. Now I just added a new one. Inspect what you expect.
Yeah,
I'm giving you an opportunity to get tattoos all over your arm.
Get it
because
right,
that's what he wants. Randy isn't
right across my neck.
That's
Nope.
what he wants.
Can she say that? You can't say that.
What just happened? Did we just fall off the ledge here?
Wait, did we?
It's all just going downhill with that note. 908-844-8337. Again, 908-844-8337 to take advantage of that portfolio x-ray from the team at Liberty Financial Group or Artemis Wealth Advisors.
We are an independent financial services firm helping individuals create retirement strategies using a variety of financial and insurance products to custom suit their needs and objectives. Investment advisor services offered through Artemis Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Artemis Wealth Advisors is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency and does not provide legal or tax advice. Please consult with your attorney, accountant, and or tax advisor for advice concerning your particular circumstances. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Randolph A. Fisher, insurance license number 9616074, and Liberty Financial Group, LLC, and Peggy Fisher, national license number 189-42003 and 570-5833.